the Youth Employment Fund that government is putting together. We've spoken about it for so often, is a fund that will ensure that young people who are unemployed between the ages of 18 to 30, probably it will be shifted to include persons older than 30, depending on the demand. But persons who have been unemployed will be given the opportunity to be employed immediately, and while on the job, they're being trained at the job that they are in. The legal structure still has to be finalized. We've had a legal opinion on that now, and the funds to push the program will come primarily from two areas. One of them will be a levy of 1 cent extra, like a top-up on every liter of gasoline of 1 cent. So everybody purchasing gasoline will contribute across the board to this. And we need to formalize an agreement with GEBE whereby all citizens, all, everybody, every household is actually connected to our electricity grid, and businesses, of course, and there will be a 1 cent per kilowatt that will be levied per household or per business. Just this morning, I received my electricity bill last night. Well, when I got home, I took it out of the mailbox, and in reviewing it, in my case, for instance, with an electricity bill of 540 guilders, it will mean an extra levy of 12 guilders. So somebody who pays 500 guilders electricity, for electricity, that includes the fuel surcharge, so your complete bill, it would mean you're consuming somewhere around 1,200 kilowatts per month, and then you would then contribute 12 cents to the fund. Of course, you might find some people who would want to raise objection, but when we look at the bigger picture, we have hundreds of our young people who drop out of school. We have hundreds of our young people who are unemployed. Some of them get employment for a short period, for 6 months, and then they're out of a job. But mostly what keeps a lot of our young people out of a job is that when you apply, you're told you have no experience. You go try again, and you are told, well, you have no qualifications, no job experience, and you land in that vicious cycle. And that person, that young person, then loses interest and loses any hope in the system. By introducing this, we will be creating a platform whereby young people will have a job, and even if after you have spent 1 year, that is what the program will run for. If you spend 1 year on a job and you have been trained, when you leave that job, you will at least be able, when applying for a new job somewhere, show that you have had ample experience and you have been trained. Next week, we will be hitting the roads to be going in the different districts to have the recruitment drive, and we hope that the young people will respond, because it is not going to be just a recruitment drive where people will then be asked, what's your qualifications, and then be told, sorry, we don't have a job for you. Whether you dropped out of school when you were 14 or 15 with no kind of training, with no experience, with no qualifications, with no job know-how, you will be guaranteed to get a job once you are willing to go to work and conduct yourself just like any and every normal employee. Other benefits that they will derive is that they will have they will be enrolled in SZV, they will be paying taxes, they will have their doctor card, and at the same time, as I said before, they will be trained.
My colleagues here on the panel will surely also discuss the economic potentials of cannabis, and I'd like to add my point to that discussion. The entire world is very rapidly changing their negative attitudes on the issue of cannabis use. And those countries that are on the cutting edge of reform will reap the greatest economic and health benefits from a formalized structural control of cannabis, just as is currently maintained with medicine, alcohol, and tobacco. Not only can cannabis provide an important economic boost, it can also alleviate the government expenditures for law enforcement and incarceration to focus on far more serious crimes and stop destroying the lives of our young people with criminal records for victimless personal acts. I have also previously presented a model that, if legalized, I believe strongly that we should restrict cannabis sales on St. Martin to exclusively locally grown products. We would simultaneously be supporting our local agricultural sector and demonstrating and limiting the potentials of nefarious outside intervention and demonstrating creative self-confidence as a sovereign nation. As an initial step towards legalized medical cannabis, I would suggest a local high-standard agricultural research station be built with both growing and laboratory features, perhaps as a partnership with private sector endeavors, yet ultimately with government to control quality standards monitoring. All cannabis products distributed on St. Martin would be, after ongoing proper quality controls, distributed to the local registered and licensed centers with structured taxation and profit margins that the research facility could very likely pay for itself in a very short time. Although I am advocating the fundamental right of civil liberty for cannabis use, for those who choose to use it responsibly, I am also strongly advocating the strict control of health quality standards of the product sold, with no distribution to minors under 18, with specifically identified and registered distribution centers and licenses, and taxation of the products for funding of community educational programs. Now is the time for this public discussion about cannabis. Now is the time for reevaluating our approach to this natural plant and its medicinal potentials for those individuals who do choose to use it. And now is the time for your leadership and courage to make big decisions beyond just minimal decriminalization to actual legal reforms that can have positive medical, economic, and judicial impacts on our society. Thank you.
Need a loan that's quick and easy. Island Finance. Up to 50,000 guineas real easy. Island Finance. For education, a renovation. That's no problem. Yes, it's true. That's not all. They're quick and friendly too. Island Finance. Appliances, vacations, even fix your car. You can depend on Island Finance.
Only Hilux overcomes Hilux. A new era for pickup.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
Oh my, what an inventory list, and so unnecessary. But wait, your home contents are all insured by Be Sure. That means that you determine the amount you want to insure. No inventory list, no hassle.
Are you be sure? Be sure.
Bob, I can understand why you're parking so carefully. Of course, when you can get 80% discount on your Be Sure car insurance. But that's overdoing it, Bob.
Are you be sure? Be sure.
Yeah.
Life is a journey full of connections. You're in safe hands, even when life starts too soon. You don't have to miss a single beat. When a bad hair day makes you sad, just sharing can bring you joy and more to come. They take the plunge, turn fear into faith, while you capture those beautiful moments. In the game of life, it's family that counts. They'll be there even when you lose. We all have our moments of reflection and hope. And when you feel you're losing everything in life, we're there because there's more to come. When life starts too soon, you don't have to miss a single beat. We're here to connect you and share life. Telcel, when you want more.
Here we go. This is freedom, this is life. Happiness is all I'm seeking. Carpe diem, I'm seizing every day, not just the weekend. Here's to all the good times that have come to last. Here's to living in the now.
When you can afford what you crave, life just gets so
So
good.
alive and I'm feeling good, so good, so good, so good. Hey, I'm gonna live my life, feeling good, so good, real good, so
KFC, so good for everyone.
The first is a follow-up meeting that the Ministry of VSR had together with SZV and Comiva. Comiva is our representative in Colombia for healthcare. They're actually an insurance company, and they manage the patients that we refer abroad from St. Martin to Colombia. You know, since the inception of SZV, SZV has actually not had any proper care contracts in place with foreign countries. So in other words, even Curacao, Dominican Republic, and Colombia. And these are important because these agreements, like any agreement, regulate a number of things, and such as reporting responsibilities, such as how the business case is laid out, what the financial commitments are, how you negotiated your rates. So having a proper agreement in place is an important part of how you manage your relationship. And SZV has been making progress on this. They've recently signed a care agreement with Curacao. They are in the process of finalizing one with the Dominican Republic. And by the end of June, I expect that they will have completed the care agreement with Colombia. And so this meeting actually was a meeting that helped to lay some of the foundations that should be incorporated into that care agreement. And some interesting points that came up in our discussions, and that's what I'd like to communicate to you here today as well. So for example, 60% of the referrals from SFV abroad are actually related to just diagnosing what the patient problems are. And so we'd like to try and find ways to reduce the amount of referrals that are sent abroad simply for diagnostic purposes. And this also ties into what we're doing with the French side. By improving our relationship with the French side, we're hoping that some of these can be just handled on the other side of the border. The French side actually does have a telemedicine room in their facility at the hospital, and so we're working on an agreement that we could use their telemedicine facilities, again, to help us to reduce our referrals abroad. And by having that room available and being able to communicate now with our other partners, we hope that we can send less people abroad. But one of the other things that we're working on is the possibility of specialists from Colombia coming back to St. Martin for short periods of time. So this would allow them to send specialists that are not available here locally, that they could meet patients here in St. Martin instead of sending our patients to them. And the other thing that they would then be able to do is patients that were seen in Colombia and that require feedback, that they could possibly do that follow-up here, again, instead of us sending our patients abroad. Another topic we spoke about was the transfer of medical records. One of the complaints during my field trip to Colombia, what I found is that very often one of the reasons for patients having to extend their stay is either because the patients don't arrive with their medical records, or, for example, what we discovered is that sometimes the quality of the medical records deteriorate in the transfer process. So in other words, if somebody has imaging from X-rays or from MRIs, that image may be translated into a PDF document, so a document that in the end the quality or the resolution is too low for the physician in Colombia to review it properly and to make a proper diagnosis. So a lot of these things are communications issues, and these are issues that would be addressed in our care contract. So again, this is a very important and very productive meeting. So we discussed, for example, how patients' information would be handed off, how on both from St. Martin to Colombia and then from Colombia back to the physician. You know, there's some issues that happened in that transfer process that in the end result in longer time for treatment. And then the last point is a point that I think is very important. We are going to establish what I would call a medical review committee. And so what that means is for every referral that's sent abroad, we will have an independent group comprising of physicians and also of financial people that will review the entire process. And that's from St. Martin all the way through back to the return to St. Martin, evaluating it not only from a financial perspective, but more importantly, from a medical quality of care perspective. So we really want to make sure that after we have an independent appraisal from a physician abroad, that can give us feedback in terms of what our community is doing well and what our community needs to improve on in terms of delivering quality of care to our people.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank, Discover what's possible.
Only Hilux overcomes Hilux. A new era for pickup.
These are the doors that never close. These are the hands that make a difference. These are the walls that could tell countless stories of helping and healing, of storms weathered, of change and growth, of a place where life begins, where hearts are mended, and where hope grows stronger. For more than a quarter of a century, the physicians, medical professionals, and staff of St. Martin Medical Center have combined advanced medical technology and compassionate care to bring a world of medicine to our friends, neighbors, and visitors to the island of St. Martin we all call home. As proud as we are of what we have accomplished, we believe there is still much work to do to continue a proud tradition of providing everyone in our community with the latest technology, the best medicine, and the most exceptional care. St. Martin Medical Center, celebrating 25 years of serving, caring, healing.
It is with great pleasure that I can inform that Seabourn Airlines, headquartered in San Juan, Puerto Rico, has decided to increase the San Juan St. Martin daily service as of the month of June 2016. And Mr. Dick, that will be a welcome announcement for you because JetBlue, as I stated before, they have seized their St. Martin San Juan route. And now Seabourn is taking over that route, so that route will be covered now as of June, the end of June 2016. Seabourn is a very reliable airline company. It has its fleet with 2 Twin Otters planes, and the routes that it flies are the Caribbean routes. And the reason why I said that this airline will be profitable because it is a fuel-efficient aircraft, and it will help Seabourn to become competitive in the eco-friendly routes. I want to emphasize also that tourism is an important contributor to the economic growth and the driving force of St. Martin's economy. As the minister responsible for the Ministry of TIAT, the main objective is to improve our tourism product, double overnight stay and expenditure by tapping into lucrative markets and niche markets. We have already identified some of the industries that we want to attract and develop next to our cruise tourism and our leisure tourism. One of those areas that we are looking into are the music festivals. These music festivals will cover the season from March through November. We have a number of events that are being planned for the upcoming months. This is the Mercury event, June. This is the American Best Weekend, which will cover the weekend before the August Monday. And also, we have the sports tourism that we are looking into, the branding and promotion of the World Series of Poker events. Also, I had contact with a company that is interested in constructing a professional athletes facility for the NBA on the island. Also, the multicultural heritage tourism is one of the niche markets that I am looking into. The market of the multicultural and heritage tourism is a fast-growing segment industry. We can tap into this industry and gain a share in the 90+ billion multicultural heritage that this market share has. Also, we are looking into the religious tourism. Presently, we are organizing also 2 gospel events. One will be in the month of July, where Pulmotor Cruise Line will have a gospel group, singers of over 200 gospel singers, and we will be hosting them here at the boardwalk at the Walter Plants Square. There's another event also, gospel, that we are organizing, but we are all still negotiating with this other gospel group. And this gospel group bring people from all over the Caribbean and the US. So it's a boost for our economy during the low season. Also, the recreational, sports, and environment tourism that we are looking into, the bird watching and shark diving. I have a meeting with the Nature Foundation with Mr. Tasio Barefoots, where we will be organizing a Caribbean Regional Marine Conservation Symposium. This symposium is scheduled to be held on June 14 until 16, and we are convening leaders from around the Caribbean to further the advancement and progress that is already made in the marine conservation industry. The focus of this symposium will be on protecting sharks in the Caribbean, because people need healthy oceans, and healthy oceans need sharks. This event will be co-hosted with Sir Richard Branson, who will be a speaker in this event. And we are very anxious and very exciting in order for this event to be held here in St. Martin. So you will have more information as we receive more information from the organizers.